Good day and welcome to the new week. Alright, I hope you're ready for it. In case you're new here, I'm Lee Johnson. This is my channel, obviously. And if you enjoy my content, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And to help the algorithm, which would be fantastic, I'd really appreciate it, you can like, share, and comment. You can also hit the join button where you can sign up for one of the memberships. That includes the Red Cover Magic School, where you get all of my content, which includes my video courses, books, Reiki attunements and such things and more, and everything else I'm bringing out. So this week I just wanted to mention I am still busy with the candle magic video course, creating that. I am actually writing the book first, and then I'll do the video course which goes along with it. So when the video course comes out, it will come along with the book, and the reason I'm doing that because there's a lot of charts and tables and references that you'll need in order to do the actual video course, so you'll be able to refer back to those within the book. So I'm about halfway through writing the book, and then I'll get onto the video courses itself. I was hoping to get that finished by the end of this month. I'm trying to push it as fast as I can, but I don't really want to rush it because I want it to be of good value. So it might be a little bit longer, but we'll see how far I get. Alright, Lucifer and Noctifer. Now, you may not have heard the term Noctifer before, and that's probably because it is it's kind of an abstract name, really. I first came across the name Noctifer several years back when I encountered the works and spoke to Peter Padden. He uses the term Noctifer quite a lot. Unfortunately, his podcasts are no longer available, but he had one specifically about, or an episode specifically about Lucifer and Noctifer, which was very interesting. He actually goes into very much the Egyptian mythology in that regard. And I'm going to try and give you an outline of that. My Egyptian mythology is not that great, and it's a rabbit hole that I am currently trying to get down. But basically, Lucifer and Noctifer. Lucifer and Noctifer refer to the morning star and the evening star, which is Venus, the planet Venus. Because Venus is visible in the morning is the morning star, and in the evening is the evening star. All right. And now, when we talk about Lucifer, Lucifer was actually a Roman Latin name for Venus. I have, however, read interpretations of this as Lucifer being the light of Venus. But in this regard, with Lucifer and Noctifer, Lucifer is the morning star, so it's Lucifer is Venus coming up in the morning, and Noctifer is the evening star when Venus goes down. So it's Lucifer, the light bringer, and Noctifer, the night bringer. And these really are twins. They are half brothers, and the whole process here is about finding balance, bringing the two opposing forces together, and it relates a lot to the sacred marriage and things like that. But this whole concept of the two aspects, we have spring equinox and autumn equinox, and those are often considered to be an axis point for this Lucifer and Noctifer thing. Can't think of the word now. So it's kind of like the axis. The equinoxes really they mean equal night. So the spring equinox and the autumn equinox are the axis for the light half and the dark half of the year, and therefore in some traditions we talk about the Oak King and the Holly King. We may speak about Osiris and Set, or Horus and Set. There's also in the Egyptian, which, as I mentioned, Peter Padden actually mentions a lot, there are Sia, Hu, Hrech, and Heka. Now, I'm probably bastardizing the name Hrech. I'm not sure how to, can't really get it out properly. However, the difficulty here is if you go searching for these names, you will find quite a lot of mention of Sia, Hu, and Heka. But the fourth one, Hrech, however you say it, does tend to be missing. Now, Peter Padden did mention a couple books, or referred to a couple books in this regard, and they are very, very difficult to find. I'm still trying to get my hands on them to go down that particular rabbit hole. But I just wanted to mention this before I go on to the rest of it, because it's quite a big part of the whole thing. Now, Sia is basically perception. Sia and Hu together equal creation, and they're often seen on the solar barge in Egyptian mythology. Now, what Peter mentioned was that we find Hu and Heka in the gut area. This is the word and the breath, and this refers very much to the Noctiferian aspect of this. It's the Hu and Heka are basically the active and passive aspects of the Noctiferian aspect. Then we find the gnosis of Sia, because Sia is perception, and the understanding of Hrech in the sort of the top, the head area. And this is again the active and passive aspects of the Luciferian aspect, and this is bringing the head and the heart together. Really, it's bringing the intellect and the gut feeling together and bringing them into unison, and this speaks of the sacred marriage. So bringing the head and the heart together in order to go to the higher self, if we want to call it that. Now, in other news, in other aspects, in other traditions, so we can speak about the Roman and the Greek. I'm going to get to the Carnite now. There's a bit I want to read from a book. When we speak about the Roman, we have Lucifer, and usually we only focus on Lucifer as being the morning star, but Venus has the aspect of morning and evening star. In this regard, the opposite, the evening star in Roman tradition is Vesper. We can then come across to the Greek, and there we find Hesperus and Phosphorus, or Phosphorus and Hesperus. Phosphorus would relate to Lucifer. There's two names for this. There's Phosphorus and there's Eosphorus. And Phosphorus is the bearer of light, whereas Eosphorus is the bearer of dawn. And I think you can see why this gets related. Both names get related to Venus and Lucifer in this aspect, because it's the morning star. It's when we see Venus in the morning sky, and so it's the bringer of dawn as well as the bringer of light. So Hesperus, and then Hesperus is the evening star. So Hesperus and Phosphorus, or Eosphorus, were the sons of the goddess Eos. In the Roman tradition, Eos is Aurora. Now, another aspect that Peter also mentioned, which was quite interesting, was that Lucifer is seen as being emerald green and Noctifer as being a blue sapphire. The main reason for this comes back to the story of Lucifer's fall from heaven. So Lucifer was seen as having a crown which had, if I remember correctly, 7 emerald jewels in this crown. And as he fell from heaven, as the lightning bolt, one of these jewels fell out of the crown, and it was emerald green. So it was an emerald jewel that fell out of the crown, and that actually went into creating the Holy Grail. Going over to Noctifer being blue sapphire, an interesting part is that the staff of Moses actually had a blue sapphire in it. So we have the Holy Grail, and we have the staff of Moses. So we can have fun relation there. There's a lot of relations we can find here, and you'll find that this aspect of light and dark, or morning star, evening star, these dualities we obviously find in probably all past and traditions, but the idea is to bring, as I said, the head and the heart together in order to reach the higher self, the higher aspect, the more evolved aspect of ourselves, if we can call it that. It's finding that balance, finding that equilibrium, bringing the two opposing forces together so that we are not fixed in this duality, we are whole. That's it really, wholeness. Bringing the head and heart together in order to create that wholeness. Alright, so I'm going to read from Pillars of Tubal-Cain by Nigel Jackson. This is in regards to the morning star and evening star, but from the Canaanite tradition. It is possible that Lucifer may have originated in Canaan as Shaher, the god of the morning star, Venus. He had a twin called Shalem, who was also Venus, but as the evening star. These divine twins represented the solar light at dawn and dusk, and its cycle of apparent death and rebirth each day. They were the children of the great mother goddess Asherah, and there is archaeological evidence her worship was adopted by the Hebrews. And then a bit further on, he goes on to say, as the herald of dawn, Lucifer may have been the son lover of the dawn goddess Aurora, who was known by many names in the Indo-European cultures. She was the daughter of a mating between a Titan and Mother Earth. The Greeks depicted the herald of dawn as a shining young man riding a white horse across the morning sky. His dark twin Venus, as the evening star, heralded the death of the sun at dusk. Between them they encompass the eternal mystery of the cosmic balance between light and dark, which lies at the heart of creation. Okay, so really this whole thing, we can see it as just the basic aspects of light and dark, morning star, evening star, and we can stay in those dualities. But the real mystery here is to bring those dualities into a wholeness. So, finding that balance, but also recognizing that there is that push and pull. But it really is that as he says, the mystery of the creation of or the mystery of the cosmic balance between light and dark. And I've been talking about it a lot lately, is the whole idea of bringing, in order to reach this knowledge and conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel, we need to bring the lower and the upper together and pull them together, and we can see this in various ways. If we look at the parts of the soul, then we have the lower, the middle, and the upper. If we bring the heart and the gut together, then we find that once they're together, we can move the energy up into the higher. But it is about bringing this whole balance of bringing things into a wholeness. I'm actually quite enjoying that term, wholeness, rather than anything else. Bring it into a oneness. That's even better, because that really is what it is all about. If we consider the dualities of light and dark, we can then consider the dualities of separation with our individual, what we consider to be our individual nature, versus the wholeness or the oneness, which actually is. We separate ourselves from it, so we create this tension. And we really need to let go of that tension and bring ourselves back to the wholeness, to the oneness. And this is part of the whole process. This is part of the whole mystery. Is realizing that we are not separate from the one, from the whole. We are part of it, and therefore we need to surrender to that idea, to surrender to the wholeness and the oneness, and such things. Anyway, all right. So I just wanted to mention Noctifer, really, because there's not really much mention about this term or name Noctifer. You won't find much on Noctifer when you go searching. It's really just the night bringer, or the bringer of the night, things like that. And it relates to the whole death and rebirth of the day. So we go through this whole death and rebirth process through our lives over and over and over again. We go through it during our life, and then obviously we have a birth and a death process that we go through, and that whole cycle continues. And all of these light, dark, death, birth, all of these things, these dualities which are the cosmic balance between everything. All right, so I think I'm rambling now. I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, so I'll see you on Wednesday for the Ask Lee section. All right then, so have a good one, and I'll see you then. Cheers for now. Bye bye.